Welcome to Ask Annex. Always open to anybody. Head to our website if you've got a question for us. It's annexwealth.com. Look for the Ask tab. Joining us today, Director of Research and the CFP at Annex Wealth Management, Matt Morzy. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Danny.
And we got Fred Coleman, also a CFP and a wealth manager at Annex Wealth Management. Hello, Fred.
Hey, Danny.
Let's go. Question number one on Ask Annex. We have leftover 529 funds after helping many of our grandchildren with college. Any downside to following the new method of rolling this money into a Roth IRA? Is the, quote, grandparent loophole a good idea?
Great question. And, I was excited about this question because when I speak to clients, one of the top questions that I get asked when it comes to should I put money in a 529 is, what if my kid doesn't go to college or they don't need it? Then what do I do? Previously, you had a few options. You could roll it to another family member or change the beneficiary on it, or you could just take a withdrawal and pay the penalty if it wasn't used for educational expenses. This new strategy makes 529s a lot more flexible. There's no downside that I see to rolling the money into a Roth IRA. You get to continue to allow the funds to grow on a tax-free basis, and you give your child a head start on retirement. And a tax-free retirement, we know, is very beneficial. The other option that you can do now with this new law is that you can use the 529 funds to pay off some student loans. So those are two new options that you have that you didn't have before. And even if you have more than one child, let's say child A has a 529 plan, you didn't use their funds, you can use those funds to pay off child B's student loans without having to change the beneficiary. So these are all positive developments. And what I would do is I would advise looking at the interest rates. Let's see if you have some higher interest rates on student loans. If the interest rates are higher, then maybe attack those. If you have some lower interest rates, maybe look at investing some of that money into a Roth IRA. It's a win-win situation. This new law, this new loophole just gives you a lot more flexibility.
It's Ask Annex. Question number two. Do today's technology ETFs have a good slice of AI investments, or do I need to find an AI-only ETF? And didn't you tell me one time that there's actually more ETFs than there are stocks?
Oh, there is, for sure, especially now with the advent of single stock ETFs, which we've talked about in the past on Ask Annex, which is its own different animal there. But yeah, there is. And, from an AI standpoint, it really goes to what are you trying to achieve? And also then how specific or how much risk do you want to take? A general technology ETF is going to be loaded with companies, especially the market cap weighted ones that are in the best position today to be able to develop and grow into this, new world of AI that we have found ourselves into. So there's a lot of leeway there with some of those really large tech companies. Now, one issue with tech ETFs is that they're specific to how companies get classified. So, for instance, Apple and Microsoft are considered tech, but Google is considered communications, although they're going to be very tech heavy. And something like Amazon is considered consumer discretionary. So in a lot of large tech ETFs, you're not going to have that full access there. So you could look at things to broaden yourself out. Large cap growth is kind of that area of the market they mostly live in. So something like that, investing in like a NASDAQ type product like QQQ is going to have more of those types of things in there. But if you want to get really specific to AI in general, you could look at what are you trying to achieve? Do you want picks and shovels? So like the semiconductor chips, so that's going to be something like NVIDIA and semiconductor ETFs. Do you want cloud, which is going to be the Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, so you could find cloud ETFs, or software, so Adobe, Salesforce, things like that. So there's different areas you can go there. But certainly if you Google like AI ETFs, you're going to find a bunch that have that name in there, and they're all going to have a couple probably similar names in there. But depending on the ETF company and what they're trying to achieve, you're going to see a lot of names you've never heard of before, some really small companies. And there's going to be a lot of risk associated in that because, frankly, although AI has been around for a long time, we're still at the very beginning of a lot of this. And there's a lot of companies that are in those that might not necessarily be around in a couple of years.
Could you use AI to find an AI stock, and then you could use an AI screener to check the AI results about the AI? That's the confusing part about this. Right.
I'd be interesting to see what comes up after all of that.
Yep.
That sounds a little scary.
Yeah. I like people. It's Ask Annex. Got a question? AnnexWealth.com. Look for the Ask tab. Final question on Ask Annex. Wondering if anybody is in the same boat as I am. Turned 62 in December. Got a good job I like, but my health is failing. Cardiac issues. Plan on retiring in January. My wife has a great job that she loves, makes good money, carries both our health insurance. She's in good health. She's 61, no plans to retire. If I take Social Security, would I be taxed because of her income?
These are the things I love about financial planning, because there are some people in the same boat, but there's always small complexities that change everyone's situation. When you file a joint tax return, the government looks at your income as one income, and the IRS uses what's called provisional income to determine the taxability of your Social Security benefits. So that's going to include your wife's income. It's also going to include a portion of your Social Security. It's going to include some non-taxable income. And all these things are going to go into one calculation to determine how much of your Social Security is taxable. So it's very important to strategize how to approach this. You're doing the right things. Health is always a consideration. Taxes are a consideration. How much you're paying for health insurance are a consideration. Well, all those things go into making sure that you strategize appropriately when it comes to Social Security.
Fred Coleman's the CFP, also a wealth manager at Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt Morzy, Director of Research and a CFP at Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
Thank you.